What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 11 of Conjured Refreshments. This week we're without Mike. He's still doing his cross-country move, but the show must go on. He had to do a ending session without me, so I'm going to do a entire podcast without him. Hopefully it works out, and we'll see how that goes. So before we do anything else, let's do this. You know what? Let's try it again. I hit the wrong pause button. And I got the add-on back on the OBS, so I can do the fancy intro we have now. So, things we're going to talk about today are the new PvP mercenary mode, recent hotfixes, and wild tokens. They have given more information on it and where they want to go with that. But before we get there, like we always do, what have I been doing for the last 2 weeks? Well, last 2 weeks I've been editing the videos that Mike and myself worked on before he went away. I still have rules of content to work on with that. I got my days mixed up and I released a quick 30 Thursday instead of Wednesday, and I released 2 videos Wednesday. It was a bad week for me so far. So I released a quick 30 on Thursday of Skyforge, a new MMO, but it's an action-based MMO, but you push buttons too, and it's still in beta, and there's a lot of issues, mainly with the graphics, what I've seen so far, and some lag issues. But all in all, that game was fun to do the quick 30 on. I did hang up a piece of cloth behind me in the office that cuts the room in half to help with the audio, which I think is helping out, but I'm not entirely sure. And I just been playing video games, looking for jobs, celebrating a birthday. So, yeah. Mike, what have you been up to? Oh, that's right, he's not here. So, let's just go into our first topic, PvP mercenary mode. And next podcast, hopefully Mike will be back and he can give his input on this, but what it breaks down to is, as long as you're not in a rated battleground, whenever you're queuing up, if the game can't balance it out, you'll be able to play for your opposite factions. So if you're Horde, you can play for Alliance. Alliance, you can play for Horde. You still get your same points if you win or lose. All that stuff stays the same. It's just there to help with the queue times on PvP. Now, I don't know how I really feel about this. I would like to see them, if this is just a testing phase for the entire idea, be able to have your character swap factions if you want. So, I like Blood Elves. That's really the only Horde race I particularly like. I want to be able to level it up and have it switch sides and be a mercenary for the Alliance. I'm wondering if this is the route they're going, or if they are really just going to stop at the PvP option. Either way, I think it's cool, but I also see the downside of it where you could be breaking the immersion. Are they going to, like, the picture for this mercenary mode thing was a orc with a Alliance mask on from, like, Halloween. I really hope that's not how it works out. It would be funny, but at the same time, I don't, I don't think that would get very far. It'd be amusing for the first 1 or 2 times, but we have the technology where they can change any faction, any race they want you to. Not faction so much as any race they want you to. We had that in Wrath and Caverns of Time dungeons, where no matter what race you were a human when you were in there. I mean, that's cool. I'd like to see more uses of that. So let's move on to. This is gonna be a short podcast, guys. I don't got anybody here to bounce topics off of, banter with. So, hot fixes for July 22nd. Hellfire Citadel fix the situation where Mark and the Necromancer could stop doing damage to players. We are actually on the High Council one fight in our raid, and that Necromancer debuff is what's holding us up right now. So, if that wasn't always ticking before, then we're in for more World of Hurt. EVP, and this is where Mike would have been great winning event in Ash Ranch, and I always award a dented Ash Mall Strongbox. I guess it wasn't always doing that. So, hooray it is. Some item changes. Item changes. Class changes. A minor fix on the 22nd where Rogue Talent fixed an issue with Venom Rush incorrectly persisted definitely. I could see that being a huge issue. It never going away. Not good. On the 21st, we had some hot fixes as well. The Tier 18 2-piece bonus for Protection Paladins no longer stack, or refresh the duration instead. I literally just the last 2 weeks now have been working on playing my Paladin as Prod again. I have done that since midway through MOP. And I can see that becoming a big deal if it would keep stacking. Next issue with a Hammer Righteous often hitting the primary target twice instead of damaging one of the secondary targets. That's a great fix because I know I had some AoE threat issues even using Hammer. So I'm glad they made that fixed. They fixed a fix from the 26th for Priest. I always like seeing those. We're fixing a fix we did a fix on that fixed back on BC patches. Warlocks, Spellhunter should now correctly require line of sight with the target. That I don't know why that was never actually in the game. I know there's a lot of places in the game where like I'm gonna line of sight these guys around this corner. What do you mean they can shoot me through this corner? Line of sight is a very useful tool in PvP and also in PvE. For anybody's tank doing LOS pools, oh yeah, beautiful things. Naval missions, On the 20th, they had tuning changes. Guardian Usher Major now only lasts 15 seconds. I honestly don't know what that is. Hunter, Beast Mastery, Bestial Wrath now lasts 15 seconds up from 10. Giving BM some more DPS. I know most of the hunters that we encounter in our raid are marksmen because that's the optimal spec right now. Hopefully that helps out some. And Survival, Black Arrow, Explosive Shot, Serpent Sting does 25% more. Again, I don't see it changing people being marksmen right now, but it makes the other two specs hopefully get closer to it. Mages are getting a little love in the fire department. Dragon's Breath now does 150% damage. Flame Strike increased by 50%, which is good because they were very low on the DPS charts, if I remember correctly. We actually have a mage who I work with on a regular basis. And we actually had her 2 weeks ago now, or 3 weeks ago, go Frost. She was Arcane, but for item level and all the other fun junk, Frost was better. Fire wasn't even a thought. Hopefully this helps out with fire mages, because I know people enjoy playing certain specs. Monk Windwalkers. The Stance of the Fierce Tiger now increases all damage by 10% up from 5. This is that pendulum thing with Blizzard. They felt Windwalker monks were too OP, so they drastically lowered their DPS to the point where it was like they were almost unviable. I didn't see very many monk DPSs in the group finders or in dungeons or in LFRs. And once this change was made, I believe today I had 3 Windwalkers in the LFR I was doing. So that 5% must have done something. I go into LFRs, not DPS, because I don't want to deal with the other idiots who are tanking. If my normal code tank wants to go in the LFR and tank together, I'll do it. If Starter wants to go and tank together, I'll do it. I really, really don't like going into an LFR and tanking. Now, I did go in whenever some guildies were doing Primal for their legendary quest ring part. And I tanked the first one, because you can pretty much solo tank that entire thing. That's what I end up doing half the time. Paladin Retribution got some love, and I do not know what other Retribution Paladins do, but damn it, my Rep Paladin cannot do damage to save her life. I have the gear, I have the enchants, I have the gems, all everything that they should be, and her DPS is just lacking. So hopefully with this 5% bump, I'll be able to be competitive again. Of course, me as a Rep Paladin is never really competitive. Back in Wrath, I would go DPS for Onyxia, my 25-man, and I would die like 10 seconds into the fight. Why? Don't know. It got to the point where we just thought that the game decided I was just going to die. There was a couple times where on everybody's screen, my character just went, and you're dead. Protection, Avenger Shield does 30% more damage. It's great. Bastion of Glory, up 8% per stack for healing, up from 6, and the Mastery for Prot is also up to 8% from 6. Just another tank balancing. And don't get me wrong, the tanks now as a 6.2 are pretty much all fairly even. Yeah, you have your tanks who are better for certain fights, but I haven't seen a tank right now in a pickup group or in an LFR who hasn't been able to do all the encounters. Yeah, the first boss in Hellfire, I can see a warrior having a little bit of an issue with, opposed to a paladin or a monk with the AoE issues. But I've never seen anybody actually die because the warrior or even the druid and couldn't keep threat on everything. So they're all pretty balanced in my opinion. Are there ones a little bit stronger than the other? Yeah, you're gonna have that. there's really no way I can see right now with the way mechanics are for each class, for every class to be 100%, for tanking at least, 100% uh, viable for everything or 100% even on everything. If it was, then there would be no point in playing a monk or a paladin or a warrior or a DK. Each tank should have something that makes them special, which right now they kind of do. So Shaman Elemental, their mastery damage has been increased by 11%, which is good because Elemental Shamans that I've seen need a lot of love. I see more enhancement Shamans than Elemental. And it's been that way for a while now, and that makes me sad. Ascended now the 2-minute cooldown down from 3 for Elemental Shamans. That's another one of those ways to, without completely redesigning the class, to help that spec get more damage out. Enhancement. Storm Strike's damage has been increased by 30%. Again, I haven't really seen Shamans be, oh my god, like they were in the past that I've seen. They've just been, oh, you're a Shaman? Oh, you do DPS? Okay, well, hit the boss. Don't die, please. Your DPS helps the raid out, opposed to that druid over there who's doing top of the charts. I don't want him to die at all. I gotta sacrifice one of you, I'm gonna sacrifice you. Warlocks, Affliction, Drain Soul has been increased. Damage has been increased by 50%. You're causing all damage over time if spells to instantly do 50% of their normal damage. Wow, up from 40%. That seems like a interesting way to play that. Well, it's been. I haven't played my Warlock hard since mid Mist, and I don't remember ever using Drain Soul on a raid encounter. Is that a part of your rotation now? If that is, that seems like if you need that burst damage right now, that's what you pop. Haunting damage has been increased by 25%. It increases periodic damage by 35%, up from 30. I remember that, and I remember going, this was very lackluster. Like, it was cool seeing the effect happen, but it didn't feel like the damage was there. Hopefully, this helps out. And then Destruction has Chaos Bolt, Conflagrate, Immolate, Incinerate, and Shadow Burn damage increased by 5%. When I was Destruction, I pushed all those buttons. If all the buttons are doing 5% more damage, okay, I'll take it. Yeah, most of the Warlocks we have in our raid, I don't have a problem with their damage output. We actually have one of our Warlocks switched to a Mage because he wasn't happy with the way his Warlock was doing in terms of DPS versus his gear. And I wonder if this would have helped change his mind of changing classes again. Well, guess we'll never know, huh? Warrior protection, Bastion of Defense now increased block chance by 15% from 10. I believe that's just a byproduct of the prop pally changes, since warriors and protection paladins are the only ones who really block. So, and they brought arms DPS down a little bit with their 4-piece set bonus. But there was also a bug where it was granting double the intended increase. So monks fixed an issue with Sacred Generic Incense or Mistweaver? What? Well, got the effect twice. Okay, I'm okay with a bug fix like that. Anytime a class gets a huge benefit like that from a potion or food or anything like that, I prefer to see the fixes. Gone is the days of waiting weeks, months for a fix to a class and people rolling that class off their ass because it was giving them this buff. I really do like the way the game has evolved and changed to where, oh, this class is doing this with this, and you need to fix that because it makes everything else null and void. Okay, I have a couple lines of code, it's fixed, and bam, it's patched. I am happy we've gotten away from the waiting for patches for big issues like this. Priest Armor sets the tier 18 4-piece set bonus for disc. Now targets friendly targets to heal with the greatest percent of missing health instead of the current health. So that as long as it was a byproduct of healing, I don't have a problem with that. But if it does something funky like trying to heal a character and oh, they actually have more health than this person over here, but they're still low and this person's lower, and your heal like starts going to that character and then boop, turns and goes to the other character, the other class or person. As long as it's just a byproduct, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it a smarter heal from the game for you, especially when you have so much to worry about on certain encounters. They fixed the, for Shaman's enhancement, they fixed the tier 18 4-piece with Healing Surge, healing more than intended. I understand with healing for more than intended, but it's one of the things where if you're in a raid environment and your enhancement shaman has to get that heal off, and that heal is what saves the raid, and if it heals for a little bit more and that's to save the raid, I think they could have modified that just a hair without really being a huge bug. And then we got quest and creatures and NPCs, raid and dungeon. I hope this fixed an issue that could occasionally cause the client to crash while loading into an area. I know we had a guildie who had that issue an awful lot. He would load into a raid and crash. Just the first time, just the initial load too. After any wipe or anything, he was fine. Just the initial one, he would zone in and crash. And battle pets, fixed an issue where players were unable to queue for battle pets through the pet journal while in Tanaan Jungle. I really don't know how that would affect anything, but I don't know the code, so yay, it's fixed. All you people who want to do pet battles, do it through the pet journal now in Tanaan. I didn't run into this issue, but fixed an issue where players were unable to queue for as a party for time walking if one of the party members has already completed it, the bonus quest. I really didn't know that was an issue, and I'm glad they fixed that and they didn't say it was working as intended, because using Time Walker to gear up an alt is a wonderful tool. I thoroughly do enjoy Time Walker. I like going back doing these old dungeons. They're just nostalgia. I know this past week we had Wrath, and I ran that way more than I had to on my tank and my monk and my paladin. My paladin tanked some of them. She hasn't actually tanked anything for a while now, but she actually tanked some of them just because I remember this fight. I remember all this content. And it was always really fun going back to these time walkers and watching these people who either A, never did it, or B, forgot that everything was scaled down on them and they couldn't just go pull everything, and having to remind people about the encounter. No, you have to do this ability. You have to worry about this mechanic. One thing I would like them to consider with this time walking is if you're in raid gear, do item level appropriate raid gear for Wrath. Because going into these Wrath or BC or whatever, going into these dungeons at just the item level you need for the dungeon doesn't. I understand it not wanting us just to raffle stomp everything, but a lot of us, that's what we remember from these dungeons now. Anybody who played or did the raids, who did Wrath content, once you outgeared the content significantly, you're basically able to raffle stomp it. I'm not saying let's go back to the way it was where 90% of the heroics near the end of Wrath, yeah, we had a healer queue up, but they went DPS. I'm not saying going that far, but to the point where, oh, we forgot to interrupt this ability, it doesn't just one-shot me. Well, two-shot, but still. I hope you understand what I'm saying. And our last topic, WoW tokens. They released additional details, which I don't see any negative on this. So, a maximum of 10 tokens per week may be purchased for real money from the in-game shop to be sold in the auction house. I was waiting for something like this to come out, because granted, you're not actually injecting any new money into the economy per se. You kind of are, but you're not like a gold farmer is. But it would be really easy for someone who has lots of money to just keep buying tokens and selling them on the auction house and build up this vast wealth and not have to do anything else in the game. Oh, I want that bag. I need a new bag. My bag's getting full. Oh, you're 1K on the auction house. Oh, give me 4 of those and buy a new token. That gets into basically a pay-to-win model. If there's gear on the auction house, you don't get the money for it, you do that. It's getting to a pay-to-win model, sorta. It's very close to where I would be bashing other games for, but limiting to 10 tokens per week. It's on the auction house. Okay. Maximum of 36 tokens every 24 months may be purchased for gold via the auction house to be used for game time. Yeah. There are supposedly pictures of people who have wild time who, end of time. And let's be realistic. We all know WoW's not going to go on forever. We would all like to think it would go on as long as they have the story to keep progressing it. But there's going to come a time where it's not going to be very fun or cost effective for Blizzard to do this. So, I'm okay with that. Having one type of token in your inventory any given time on your Bounded account, okay. I'm okay with that. It just means you can't be hoarding tokens on different characters, and I really don't even know why that's in there. It might just be they saw something and they're like, you know what? Let's just cover a basis. Let's throw this in there. A player may only hold a maximum of 10 tokens in their inventory at one time. This limit is shared across all characters in the Bounded account. So, if you were saving up tokens for a rainy day, more than one or two, I don't know why you would do that, but there you go. Now, the next additional feature I'd like to see them add to this wild token thing is I'm able to buy it from the auction house and give it to a guildie, or buy it with roll money and go and hold a contest and go, you know what? Here's free game time. Instead of having to go get a card and mail the card out to them, or go out and buy a card, scratch it off and give them the code. I think once it passes a player's hands, it should either be locked to that account now, or that player can do whatever they want with it. I hope that feature gets added soon. But that's all I had to talk about for this podcast. Like I said, I hope next podcast Mike is back to have someone here to bounce these topics off of, talk to people, or talk to him with it. And even with the next podcast, we might end up bringing back the mercenary thing, talking about it, getting his input on it. But upcoming for my channel, Skyforge beta right now. I don't think I'll be, like I said at the end of my quick 30 that if I enjoyed it, I would make more beta content on it. The problem I'm running into is I'm not having that much fun in it. It doesn't feel entertaining. It's gorgeous. If I'm not recording or streaming, I can put the graphics max and it'll be around 40 frames per second. But it has a decent storyline, what I've seen so far, what I've read, and what I've had voice acting. And again, the game is voice acted. For some reason, Bandicam didn't pick up the voice acting. Don't know why. But it has a convoluted. I can't say convoluted. If anybody ever played Final Fantasy X and the, for lack of a better term, the talent system it had with the orbs and going off in different directions, that's how this talent system is. And these talent balls take this kind of resource. These talent balls take these kind of resources. If you don't have this one, you can't. You go into this one. It's a neat idea, but I don't know how well it's going to work out for a MMO. I really do like the idea of being able to change your class at any given time. That's cool. And what I've seen so far is the gear that is appropriate for the class you have currently on your person, the gear will go to that particular set. So like I got a wand or a staff the other day, and I double clicked on it and equipped it, and it went to my spellcasting set. I've never activated before, but it went to that set. It just sits there. Doesn't take up space in my inventory. It just sits on that spec. So it has a lot of cool ideas. I'm just not sure about the game right now in its current form. More content from the massive recording session Mike and myself had before he went away. Hopefully whenever he comes back and he's all settled down, we can do a live stream of Trine 2. Play that game through. We did Trine 1. We put that through on my channel. I streamed that. So hopefully we can do Trine 2 together and we'll both stream that. And Mike said it last week, or last podcast, but we do have a new podcast coming out that is still Warcraft related, but it's just us taking one topic and giving feedback on one particular topic. Not covering a whole bunch like we do here. We're just going to go, okay, sit down and flying. Blah, 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 blah. Mike. Rebuttal. Blah, 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 blah. Mystic. Blah, blah. And just keep going back and forth like that. He brings his own topic in. Yeah. I think it'll be fun and entertaining. But that's really all I have. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Until next time, later.